So on Friday, before we did our look it and you showed work for 5 questions, we did the first few. The first one, we really went step by step, right? We always keep, change, and then flip. So starting on number 4, if Romeo has a total of this amount of fudge and he's dividing it by this, which could we use? How would we set this up? We know we're not well, maybe we are? Nope. We know we're not multiplying. We're dividing, right? So we're going to take the total and divide by this. So A or B? B, very good. So then we just need to do it. Remember, we have to keep. So we're using this equation. What are we keeping? The 3/4. So I'm rewriting it. Guys, this shouldn't take long for you to rewrite it. I'm not sure why many of you don't have your packets out. You should be on page 5. We started this. And then we're changing what? What are we changing? Division to multiplication. I would highly suggest if you haven't written that on your packet that you do so. Gentlemen, SJ, where did we say your new sheet was? Not there. You can't handle it. I'm already talking to you again. I'm not going to do that every day, so I'd like you to go to your seat and stay there. Keep, change, and then what are we doing? Quickly. Flip. So the bottom goes to the top, and the top goes to the bottom. What can we do to make this multiplication problem a little bit easier? Cancel any common what? Factors. We got to cancel out common factors. So what were you thinking we were going to do, Avery? What can we do? It's okay. What do you see that we could do here? Addison. Yes. So if I divide the 16 by 4, I get 4. But whatever I do to the top, somewhere on the bottom, I have to do the same thing. So if I divide the 16 by 4, I have to divide the 4 by 4. What's 4 divided by 4? 1. Now when I multiply across the top, I have 3 times 4, which is what? 12. And I have 1 times 5, which is 5. Now remember, when I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of this like divided by, right? So if I have 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, how many groups of 5 can I take out? 2, good. So if I take out this group of 5 and this group of 5, I have 2 whole groups, and how many remaining? 2 of the how many to make the whole group? 5, right? Our denominator is going to stay the same when we go from improper to mixed number. Okay, question, Avery. This divided by this? Well, 12, I made 12 dots. And then I was dividing them into groups of 5. That's how I came up with that. Because I wanted you to see what we're doing. Does that make sense? That's how they got 2. Because 2 whole groups make 10. So solve the equation to determine the number of bags he can make. How many bags can he make? 2 bags. Right? Real life means we're not making parts of bags. I can't like regulate the temperature in here. It's either like roasting or freezing. I don't know. All right. So let's look at page 6 to review some more. And then you guys are going to have 8 and 9. So Chelsea has 7/8 pounds of butter. Each batch of icing needs 1/4 pound. So we're taking the total dividing by how much for each. So we're not multiplying, so we know that. Which one are we going to do, A or B? A. Very good. We've got the total divided by the number in each. So now we have to solve it. Remember, if you haven't written it yet, keep, change, flip. What are we keeping? Excellent. What are we changing? Division to multiplication. What are we flipping? Well done. All right, now, how can we make this a little bit easier? Do you see any common factors we can take out, Celeste? Yeah, exactly. So if I could take out a 4 from the 4, I have 1, which means I need to take out the 4 from the bottom somewhere, making this a 2. Okay? So then I'm multiplying across the top. What's 7 times 1? 7. And 2 times 1? 2. Remember, this is like 7 divided by 2, so I do need to simplify. If I have 7, how many groups of 2 can I make? 1, 2, 3. 3, because 3 times 2 is 6 without going another. Go sit down. I'm teaching right now. How many remaining? 1. If I had 2 remaining, I would have another whole, right? Because 2 parts make that. 3 and 1/2. So how many batches can I make? 3 batches. Right. It's hard to make a half a batch. It's not impossible. We could do it. Right. But remember how we talked about eggs? It's hard to cut an egg in half if we're using eggs. Or some other things. Sometimes we have like a package. You'd have to weigh it out, right? All right. Let's write a story context. So let's say I have, what do we have 5, 6 of? I have 5, 6 yards of what? Yarn. Each washcloth takes how much? Excellent. 1/6 a yard of yarn. We'll just say how many? How many washcloths? I don't know. I was trying to think of something we could make with yarn, but not a lot of yarn. So I came up with washcloth. It came from my head, okay? Why? My aunts make washcloths from yarn all the time, and I use them at my house. Cotton yarn. All right, so let's do it. It says to write in its simplest form. So I'm going to keep. What am I keeping? What am I changing? Division 2. Excellent. And what am I flipping? 6 goes to the top, 1 goes to the bottom. This is beautiful, right? If I have the same number on the top and the bottom, I can take it out and divide it by itself, making it what? 1. What's 5 times 1? 5. What's 1 times 1? How many pieces of pizza do we get? I know, right? All right. What is the expression? What is the value of this expression? Essentially, we need to solve this. So we're going to keep the first, making me write tiny now. 2/5. Change to multiplication. Flip. Now with this one, I don't notice any common factors I could take out of both the top and the bottom, right? Because I have this 5. So what's 2 times 6? 12. What's 5 times 1? Where have we seen this before? Number 4. 12 divided by 5 was equal to 2 2/5. 1/4 divided by 1/8. What are we keeping? 1/4. What am I changing? Division to multiplication. What am I flipping? The 1/8. The 8 goes to the top. The 1 goes to the bottom. Let's make this easy. What can I take out? I could divide them both by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now what could I take out again? Another 2. If I take out a 1, it's not going to change anything. Anything divided by 1 is itself. But 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it's okay if you just find one common factor and then take it out. And then you see it's still even. So I'm going to take out another 2. We could have divided both by 4, right? So what's 1 times 2? 2. What is 1 times 1? If it's easier for you, you might have seen 8 divided by 4, which is also what? 2. You're right, we didn't have to. It will make the same answer because we're not changing our fractions. We're just writing them as equivalent fractions. You're going to order pizza for the class? I don't think there's any pizza places open. Maybe in 5 minutes they're open. All right, let's look. Let's make sure we know what we're doing. We have pages 7, 8, and we have one problem on page 9. Do you want to do some odds or evens, or do you want to try them on your own now? All right, let's try them. Please raise your hand when you're getting stuck. Remember, you're going to keep, change, flip. Do not just stare at your packet. Right? Start writing down the problem. Keep the first. Change to multiplication. Flip the second. You got this. To put your pencil to the paper and get most of these done. All right, I'm going to do the evens with you. I'm going to go fairly quick so that I am not waiting for your talking. So here I would just say keep, change to multiplication, and flip. Notice there's nothing in common that I could divide out of the top and the bottom. So for number 12, I'm just saying 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 4 is 8. There's nothing that I could divide the 5 and the 8 by evenly, right? So I'm moving on. It's as simple as it gets. 14. I would keep the 7 8s, change to multiplication, and the 16 goes to the top. Here, before we multiply, I notice I could divide this by 8 and this by 8. So that leaves me with 7 times 2 and 1 times 1. Well, anything divided by 1 is itself. So that is as simple as that gets. All right, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. And then we're going to move to page 8. Because that is page 7. Remember, do I care if you get the right answer written on your paper? Not really. I care that you know how to do the problem. Because when it comes to Friday, we have to know how to do it on the quiz, right? So if you have not retaken your decimal quiz, this week is a great week to do it. First or second hour. Okay, I know obviously you couldn't today, first hour, because of the Veterans Assembly. But tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, do it before the next quiz would be super helpful. All right, page 8. I'm just going to do the evens. So 16. Which would we do? If he has this for the total, we're dividing by each part. Whatever each is what we're dividing by. So A or B? A or B? A or B? Which is it? Oh, I don't know. I hear a mix. This is our total. Whatever each is what we're dividing by. So B. When we solve it, we have 4/5 times what? 16/1. This one's kind of ugly, right? But you can use your multiplication table to out that 16 times 4 is 64. Let's see. 16 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 64. Remember, this means 64 divided by 5. So if I follow my 5 until I get close to 60 without going over, so not 65, and then I would go up, my whole number is 12. What would 12 groups of 5 be? What's 12 times 5? 60. So how many would I have remaining? Remember, I'm thinking 64 minus 60, so I have 4/5. That's as simplified as it gets, right? Yeah. You have to come during Trojan time or second hour to retake the quiz. We do not have a test tomorrow. We have a test on Friday.
You get like lunch attention
With Mr. Mullins? No, you got to do it with me. All right, so it says interpret the quotient. So how many sandwiches would I be making in total? 12, right? 12 sandwiches. For 17, you can make up a story. It's not super important that you know how to do that. But be sure you know how to solve. And so this is your last one. What'd you say? 4/9 times what? 3/1. These are all nice numbers because we can take what out of the top and the bottom? 3. What's 3 divided by 3? What's 9 divided by 3? What's 4 times 1? What's 3 times 1? How many groups of 3 can I take from 4? One whole group is 3, so how many would be remaining? 1, and we put that over our same denominator. Cool? All right, be sure you go back and finish those odds, and then you should be working in what for the remainder of the hour? Alex, get those 5 topics learned this week. Then you'll have extra credit.